This program on investing under regulation crowdfunding is not investment advice.
Rising with the crowd, power unbound, change makers lead where hope is found. Superpowers for good, shaping the fate. Investors and dreamers open the gate. Super Crow stands loud, proud and true, building tomorrow for me and you.
Welcome, everyone. We're excited to have you here today. Thanks for joining me. As our television audience continues to grow, I'm just excited and thrilled to have you here. I want you to know how much I appreciate you. We welcome you to the Superpowers for Good show from the Super Crowd. I am your host, Devin Thorpe, and today we've got an extraordinary guest with us. Robert Pyle is here. He's a real estate developer with a net zero project in Portland that I think you're just going to love to learn about. He's also raising capital from the crowd. So this is a conversation you don't want to miss. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Devin.
We're really thrilled to have you here today. This project you're working on, which virtually is right behind you, very beautiful project.
Thank you.
And it's underway. Give us a sense of the progress you're making on this project.
Yeah, so we are underway with the first of the two buildings in this rendering. So it is our prototype, effectively. We started construction in April, and we're about halfway done now. So we're expecting to deliver it in this coming March, April, we're excited to bring it to market, excited for people to get a chance to see it, opportunity to see the units and really understand kind of what we're trying to do.
It is a pretty cool little project, 12 units, right? You're raising on small change, right?
Yes.
So people can go learn more and invest right there, participate with you on this project. Now on small change, we probably shouldn't say the amount, but you're raising a relatively small amount. I suspect it isn't the full budget. Where's the rest of the money coming from?
Yeah, we raised the rest of the money from friends, family, local first degree kind of professional networks. So, really leaning into those relationships with people and helping them understand what we're doing. Those that are, of course, local here to Portland as well, understand the market a little bit. But yeah, we are also doing a small crowdfunding raise on small change as well.
Yeah, it's great, and that makes this open to anyone who wants to invest. And it really looks like, to me, looks like a great investment. So I hope people will check it out. One of the things I love about this project is kind of this, I think it's got a net zero target. Tell us about how you're accomplishing that. That's a challenge.
Yeah, it is. And we're very much leading with that goal in mind. So this project is first and foremost a project where net zero is the principal goal. That's been part of all of our conversations with all of our partners, both design and project partners, but also on the investment side as well, is letting them know that first and foremost the goal is to achieve net zero on this project. So it's actually the secret kind of recipe is really in the proportions of the building. So obviously the technology that we have these days with building envelopes, HVAC systems, solar, continues to improve, right, year over year. And we see more and more net zero projects, being delivered to the market across the country, across the world. For us, this one really started with Portland's zoning change early 2020 and really trying to densify some of our neighborhoods along major thoroughfares, mixed use neighborhoods, and looking at, could we help deliver housing that meets those goals, but also make them net zero. And that's kind of the thrust of what we're doing, is really combining the solution of housing with net zero energy, sustainability, kind of thinking about the planet as we go forward here. So the project itself, really what we're able to do is by focusing on the envelope, so making a super tight envelope, really energy efficient, using a high efficiency HVAC system as one of the principal components of energy use in the building, really driving down the use required for that system. And then the last piece is offsetting the energy that we do use with solar panels on the roof. So we have just enough roof area to be able to generate, approximately 100% of the energy that the building will use.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. But that really is a challenge. I think it sounds easy to a novice, right? Solar panels, you just power everything. But there's, you got 12 units there. You don't have a lot of roof,
right?
Because the units are stacked, at least partially, right? So you've got, you don't have 12 rooftops. You've got the equivalent of maybe 4 rooftops for 12 units. So the math is challenging. An HVAC system that is efficient like this, boy, that's a challenge. And the insulation, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
It sounds expensive. So when you're done with the project, are you renting or selling these units?
Great question. Thank you. Yeah, we're delivering these as a market rate apartments. So for rental purposes. So here in the Portland market, specifically this project being in the St. John's neighborhood, kind of northwest Portland, we are looking at kind of just the market and, where we are there with regard to rents. The project itself, yes, it does come with a premium for these upgrades that help us achieve the net zero goal. But our estimate right now is it's about 7 to 10% on our project cost. And we really do think that will be recovered or accounted for in terms of the overall building value on the backside as well, when ultimately we were able to exit the building and sell it to an investor who's going to hold it for long-term cash flow. But the math really for us does pencil. So we're really looking forward to delivering that and kind of testing all of our assumptions here and really seeing how much all the data we've collected today is going to prove out.
Yeah. And to what extent does the cooperation of the tenants play into this? Because it seems to me that a couple of space heaters in the corner can really mess things up in the calculations. How do you manage that?
So we will have electrical submeters for every unit. So we'll be able to measure and monitor and make sure, that we're not having anybody, use disproportionate amounts of energy. Our energy modeling right now uses kind of the standard ASHRAE assumptions in terms of consumption for an individual in their home. And we are right on the money in terms of the projected energy use and the projected energy generation from the roof. So we will be very active and collaborative with our residents and then helping them understand kind of what our goals are and how much of a part that they play into it. We do expect as well in the Portland market here, people will self-select to a degree in looking at and being interested in a project like this. People who have a sustainability leaning in the first place, are likely going to be those who are most interested in these units. And I think that story of help us help you effectively, managing our energy use, I expect we'll get really good participation, really good collaboration from our residents.
It is, I think, right. The self-selection is going to help a lot, right? The folks that are more inclined to run that heater in the corner, or you may have more problem with the marijuana grow and the lighting in the second bedroom. You gotta watch for that.
And thankfully, exactly. Those electrical submeters will help us make sure nobody's trying to run a grow farm or even mining crypto, those kinds of things. I mean, I expect we'll have we'll have people do a nice balance. I think, and you mentioned earlier, like whether it's space heaters, right? There oftentimes are people who, maybe they end up using a lot more energy for heating and cooling, but specifically with space heaters, which electrical resistant type heat is pretty inefficient. And then one of the nice things, one of the benefits for the residents in a net zero building like this, or the design, is that the interior of the units is just more comfortable than other units because the envelope is so airtight. We're able to kind of condition and keep the interior of the space at a much more comfortable level relative to a peer building that's not net zero, for example. On the HVAC strategy, we are actually providing 2 zones per 1 bedroom unit. So the units are about 600 square feet, and they have 2 zones, one for the living room, one for the bedroom. So we're kind of providing even a higher degree of climate control and comfort control for people.
That's great. Now, let's put this into a little bit of context, right? This isn't the first project or the only project that your business will develop, but tell us about Oakleaf Development, the company that you run that's doing this project.
Yeah, so this is kind of a vision come to life. But Oakleaf for me, the name really is meant to evoke that sort of photosynthesis aspect. Really, sort of the net zero component, the solar generation, sustainability. That's kind of where that comes from. This building prototype though is unique in that it's designed to kind of fit within the Portland City Building Code and our zoning codes, by right. So there should be very little that's kind of an obstacle in terms of getting this building permitted for development on other sites around the city. And that's kind of the one of the most exciting parts for us is that there's so much opportunity in the city of Portland to densify urban infill type projects, really kind of spread these across the city where we can provide in aggregate a pretty significant number of housing units, while also delivering them in this net zero, sustainability minded fashion. To us, that both the combination of those 2 benefits is really what is super special about what we're trying to do. Yeah,
this is phenomenal. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us and share this with us. On the screen, we're sharing a link right now, s4g.biz/WL. WL here stands for West Lombard. That short link will direct you right to the small change offering page for Robert's offering. And so I encourage you to visit, check that out today to learn more about this great project. Listen, we're going to take a quick break now. Robert, we're going to take a quick break. We're here with Robert Pyle, phenomenal real estate developer in the Portland area who is developing a net zero project that's beautiful. When we come back, we're going to talk to Robert about his superpower. So stick around. You don't want to miss this.
Download a free copy of How to Make Money with Impact Crowdfunding, the book Sarah Hanks describes as
a fantastic overview, not just of crowdfunding investing, but of investing in general.
Andrew Savickas raved,
"This book offers unparalleled insights for anyone looking to make a difference."
Scan the QR code to get your copy.
Ready to take your small business to the next level? Honeycomb Credit empowers diverse entrepreneurs by connecting you with community-driven funding. Build customer relationships, amplify your brand, and grow with those who believe in you. Honeycomb Credit, where your community invests in you.
Scan the QR code to start today.
Join the Impact Crowdfunding movement. Get Superpowers for Good, your free daily newsletter with exclusive video replays, a podcast, and the latest investment opportunities open to everyone. Join the super crowd. Scan now so you can learn to make money while you make a difference.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with Robert Pyle from Oakleaf Development. We've been talking about his project that he's crowdfunding at Small Change for building this net zero project, 12-unit project in Portland. Great project. You got to check it out. But we're going to shift gears. Talk to Robert now about his superpower. Stick around. You don't want to miss this. Robert, you really are a remarkable guy, and I feel the genuine passion you've got for the environment, and the world is dependent, in some ways overly dependent on guys like you, making an extra effort, right? Building the net zero projects, making it possible. And I think people, we didn't talk enough about this, but the buildings use up so much energy. And if we don't figure out how to convert massive quantities of our real estate projects to net zero in the next couple of decades, we're in real trouble. And so you're leading on that. We're so grateful. Thank you. You're a hero. What is your superpower?
That's a great question. And I think ultimately it is really, for me, my passion for this topic. Growing up here in Portland, I'm infused with sort of the principles of sustainability, environmental stewardship. I'm grateful to have grown up in this community where those values are kind of front and center. Portland has a great history of urban planning, of really trying to do smart growth. I remember as a kid, growing up, sorting our recycling. I'm going out for hikes and camping. Like the reverence for nature and the planet is very, very deep. And ultimately, that's why I got into real estate development in the first place in college, was recognizing the potential power of the industry to have a positive impact in this way. So we have great companies, great development firms here in Portland that have led the way for the last 20, 30 years in this regard too. So to kind of stand on their shoulders, here now in 2024, I definitely feel fortunate and grateful for the paths that they've put before us. But I think for me, it really does come down to kind of the passion. I think, like you were saying, the built industry, the building environment really does use disproportionate amounts of energy, and really the opportunity that we have is to leverage, the outsized impact of the industry in terms of energy consumption by pursuing more sustainable, more energy efficient, ultimately, net zero types of projects. And so I'm very, very excited for kind of where we are as a real estate industry, where we are here in Portland, where we are as a world right now, and people's recognition that this is a direction we need to go more and faster in. And I am, happy to be part of it. I'm excited to be, sharing with other professionals, other folks who are just simply interested in kind of what we're doing, how it helps us all. That's really, kind of what excites me the most.
Yeah, but I think your passion for the environment is really profoundly important. And I wonder if you could share a specific anecdote that sort of illustrates that, maybe something that would take us back to the roots of that, where you'd say, oh yeah, I discovered my passion for this, or my passion grew out of this experience. Can you think of something that sort of helped frame that in your youth, perhaps?
Yeah, and I briefly kind of referenced it. I think really it was growing up, camping, hiking. I remember sorting our recycling, things like that, where it was all in the context of we're doing this for the purposes of protecting our environment, protecting our home, preserving the beautiful natural spaces that we have. Again, very fortunate to be here in Portland and our sort of unique climate, our unique environment, and wanting to protect it for my daughter, for my nieces and nephews, for all the kids coming up behind us, for them to have the opportunity to see these areas that have really been a huge part of my experience, my growing up, and just really wanted to make sure that we leave them as well with as much of an opportunity to experience that as I had. And I think for all the reasons that kind of go along with being concerned with sustainability, environmentalism, right? It's better for everyone. It's healthier for everyone. The more that we're able to protect the environment, the more we're able to provide a better future, for all the people.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate you sharing that. It helps us to frame and understand that. Now, here's the hard part. Here's your assignment, Robert. I want you to give us some tips to help us discover our own inner passion for the environment. I think there are some people who are listening who are thinking, I sort of get it intellectually, but I'm really not there emotionally. I should feel this more. How do we feel it Robert Pyle style?
I mean, the number one tip, the number one suggestion I would make is just to get out into nature. I think those are the moments of inspiration that I find to be most profound. Again, we're lucky here in Portland and Oregon to have lots of opportunity to have those moments, whether it's in the forest, or at the Oregon coast here during the winter, watching a storm come through. We have so many beautiful natural areas where I find myself, going with my family and friends, and just being in awe of what we have, and wanting to protect it, preserve it, for its own value, its own worth as well. But just in recognizing that it's part of everything, it's all connected in terms of how it affects us, our health, our well-being. Ultimately, in my mind, environmental stewardship is, as selfish as anything else. It really is about protecting that long-term, sort of broad-based health and prosperity for the entire population.
Yeah. Now, let's assume that we do what you've suggested and it's worked. We are now Robert Pyle passionate, but we haven't had that feeling for 20 years, 30 years like you. So we don't know what to do. Now we're passionate. We want to save the planet today. What are like a few tips you could give us to help us actually implement our newfound passion for being an environmentalist?
I think probably the biggest tool people have is just spending, how you spend your money, right? Finding ways to be more impactful with your spending in protecting the environment, supporting the environment. Obviously, simple things like donating, to the Nature Conservancy, or things like that. But just being mindful too in terms of our consumption, where we're spending money, how we're spending money, shop local, right? All that helps. All of that is environmentalism at the end of the day. Really being mindful of kind of how goods and services are traveling, how they're having an impact. And then I think, of course, there's lots of companies, opportunities to do business with, who put sustainability, put environmental friendliness at the center of what they're doing. The more we can collectively support those businesses, those initiatives, the more the business case starts to align, the more we start to multiply the effect. And that's kind of ultimately, at the end of the day, what I am hoping people can start to see is the multiplier effect of combining these sustainability goals with business, whatever business, and really seeing that long term we get a lot more out of it holistically than obviously kind of keeping them separate.
Yeah, great tips. Great tips. I really appreciate you sharing all of that. As we begin to sort of wrap up this conversation, and I hate to do it because I have so thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, you're just a brilliant guy, and I want to keep learning from you, but at the same time, we have time constraints. Doggone it. Tell us how people can learn more about investing. Tell us how people can connect with you.
Yeah.
And tell people how they can learn more and follow you in the long run, and learn more about Oakleaf Development and your future projects.
Yeah, I think definitely a small change listing is a great place to get all the information on the project, detailed information on the project. We'll continue to work with them as we go forward as well. Really do believe in the power of crowdfunding, the power of broad-based engagement, across the country, across our community. So that would be definitely the first one. Our website, oakleaf.dev. We'll be having posting updates, sharing updates there on the building of the project, and of course the socials on Instagram, Facebook. So that'll be a great place to kind of stay in touch, both on the project that's under construction, and then of course what comes next. And we've got some great things in the pipeline for 2025, 2026, and we're very, very excited for the future here.
This is such a great project. I can't wait to see you succeed with this project. I really think this is a great one. And confessing now, we're recording this about a month before it will air. But the reality is you were already making good progress on the crowdfunding campaign. I congratulate you. I want to encourage our audience to be sure to check this out quickly, immediately, because you don't want to presume that you're going to have this opportunity for 6 more weeks and wake up and discover that, hey, he filled the round and you cannot participate. This one easily could be accomplished quickly. So check it out today. Don't miss that opportunity. Again, Robert, we want to wish you every success with this project and your ongoing efforts to save the planet. We need you.
Thank you, Devin. Appreciate it very much.
All righty. Let's do some good.